Welcome back to Adri's Farmhouse Kitchen. In this vlog, I'm going to talk about 18 seeds to sow in January. Let's go through what you can sow, and I'm going to tell you in the end what I'm going to sow the month of January. So if you're interested, you are welcome. Let's go watch the vlog, friends. Right, so I get so excited this time of the year. New year, new beginnings. Step by step, I'm going to bring you along and show you this year how to grow a year's worth of food regarding fruits and vegetables. So if you're interested, make sure you subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and come along on this journey with me. I will teach you step by step. I will bring you along in every little moment to show you how you can grow your own garden. You know, you don't have to start with 20, 30 raised beds. Start with one. Don't get too overwhelmed. It is an experience and it's a learning curve. So if you've not sown a seed before in your life, you don't want to have a huge garden and grow a year's worth of food, but you might want to try something, pick what you like. And you know, it's an amazing experience. You're out in the fresh air. It's just so nice to put your fingers in the dirt. Honestly, it's so therapeutic. I do tell this all the time, every year. I am gardening now over 10 years, and my lifestyle is since I was a little girl, I was growing up in this kind of farm environment, and we used to grow our food, you know, for generations to generations. So, but I'm still learning every single year. So now I'm on different climate in England, so that's again a different. You need to find out your zone, because I might tell you all these fruits and vegetables to grow in January, but it all depends where you are in the world. So hardiness zones, it's very important to know. I am in here 7B, 8, zone 8, so you know, we are still in the middle of winter, and another very important thing you need to know, when is your first frost and when is your last frost. So my estimated last frost in the winter, actually it can be close to a summer. It's definitely May, April, May. Last year, it was very close in June. That's why I mentioned in summer, it's ridiculous. But I got away with it a few years in April, and I've not had frost after. Sometimes I had frost end of April. So this bear in mind, this is very, very important, because now we cannot just go outside and sow all these 18 seeds, and then tomorrow we're gonna have 2 inches of snow. It just doesn't make sense. You need infrastructure, you need heat lamp or heat mat, some kind of heat source and light to be successful in gardening. But I will talk about it so much more in the upcoming months that, you know, you will be absolutely fine. So first seed to sow in January, onions. I have got quite a few variety of onions in here. I've got the perennial onion, red bunching, what I actually sowed last year. I've got long red of Florence seed. I've got the Galactus onion, what we're gonna sow from seed. And I've got the Italian flat. So these are the seeds I'm going to sow this month with you. I have also used sets. Sets are the second year onion bulbs, the small bulbs, what you can use, and it's a big head start. So when you sow seeds, onion seeds, it takes a lot longer, you know. But honestly, it can give actually bigger and stronger bulbs. So I like doing both. I've already have got onions in a garden now. I've put the sets, it's called, a small onions in my raised bed autumn last year, and it's called Overwintering Onion, that Senshyu. I never know how to pronounce it. I will leave it in the description down below. If you're interested, let me know. So they are now outside in the frost, covered in snow, in the raised bed, outside raised bed, and they will be just fine. I have also done the garlic, because you can do the garlic. I put it into number 14, what I have already done. So I usually put the garlic cloves again, you know, the big bulb, break it apart, and each clove individually you just put in the ground in your compost, and that will give us garlic the following year, summertime. So I've put my garlic in October last year, and we're going to harvest it June, July this year. It's going to be a similar scenario with onions, but you can sow onion from seed this month. Number 2, leek. I've got a couple of varieties of leek. I've got the Hannibal, and I've got this blue, it's upside down, and I think it's kind of French, so I can't pronounce it. But you know, you get, if you like leek, leek is a very good onion flavor to have, because when you think about self-sufficiency and you grow vegetables, fruits and vegetables all year round, you know, even some of the overwintering and some of the long-term storage onions won't store the whole year. So in my experience, I really like to make the onion to onion powder, and that will last for years. So I usually have got a window to use up the onions, probably max up to 6 months. So if you harvest the onion, let's say July, August time, then July, August, September, October, November, December, January. So by end of January, February, I should be using up most of my onions, otherwise it goes soft and try to grow again. But if I have leek, it's absolutely fine. I've got some leek now in a garden. They're not looking the best because I put too much in a raised bed, but I had in previous years leek, honestly, absolutely amazing leek all the way through the spring, so through the winter, outside in a garden, and they're doing just fine. And then you got the onion flavor, you know, wherever you need it in your cooking, you have got the leek. So it's really good to have. Another good thing to have is the shallots. I put it down now, I'm going a bit all over the place, but the shallot stores really well in my opinion, a lot better than garlic and onion. So I am going to get sets this year. I need to go to the garden center and think about choosing a variety, and then we're going to put it in the ground probably about March time. So, but you can sow shallots from seed this month. Okay, next, tomatoes. Probably lots of you now screaming like, no. You know what? I have tried I've never sown, I can't remember sowing tomato seeds in January, but I have done February, March, April, and the longer I leave it, better it is. The only thing is that I have to wait a little bit longer in a summer to have tomato harvest. But tomato grows so fast, germinates very quick. So if I sow seeds today, let's say today 2nd of January, within a week I've got seedlings, and it's gonna go leggy and it's gonna be a nightmare. So you need so much grow light, you know, because there's no light. It's still just getting light, 8 o'clock, and 4 o'clock it's getting dark. So very important, the light. So my tomatoes would get really leggy even if I would put it on, you know, with the stem in the ground. That tomato within couple of months would be huge, and I would never be able to plant them out until May, because tomato is so sensitive for cold and frost that I can risk it if I get away with frost, you know, but if not, then we're gonna lose it. And this is the chance what you need to make a decision. Some people do it even on my climate, but I probably gonna leave that personally myself for next month. Number 4, cauliflower. I am going to start cauliflower Jessie this year, and I've got some autumn giant in here. These are old seeds, so probably I'm just gonna sow this. Let's see what's happened. But I'm gonna sow seeds. I'm going to sow the cauliflower this month. Also, number 5, lettuces. I already have lettuces in a garden, in a polytunnel outside as well. So until we're gonna have really frosty weather, it's gonna be fine. If it's probably gonna be about -6 to 10 degrees Celsius, then probably I'm gonna lose the most. So what I can do, I can sow lettuces indoor or in my potting shed, and we can have a constant supply of salad greens and lettuces until we again can sow again, because we're gonna succession sow this. So we're gonna sow this month and probably every month, every other month. Lettuce don't like to be too hot, so they don't like the summer months. So it's usually spring, autumn is the best time. I love the Bronze Beauty. Sue is my favorite. It's like an icebergy. Copacabana baby leaf. This is the Sue I was on about. There is the Outrageous, and there's so many other varieties I like sowing. So, well, definitely gonna sow lettuces this month. Next thing, celery and celeriac. Celery and celeriac, same than carrot, and the little tiny seeds, like lots of flower, needs light to germinate. So make sure you do not cover it, because otherwise it takes a long time to germinate anyway, and if you cover it, it might happen, might not. So I'm going to sow celery. Celery's got a very long growing, so it takes time to germinate, and it's a very slow grower. But when it gets going, you know, so by March time, we can literally have a quite decent little plants to plant out. And what I have experienced past few years, I am putting celery with my tomatoes in a tunnel, and it just works really well. So I'm gonna do that. The slugs love it, so make sure you plant more what you need. Celeriac, I'm gonna give it a miss on celeriac, but you can sow celeriac this month. Aubergine or eggplant. Again, I'm not super keen on it, but I've decided to do one variety. I've just made an order, so whatever is not in here, we go through again when we're gonna sow the seeds of all the variety if you're interested. But I like using She Grows Veg. It's a British company. They're quite new, so, and I just love their packages. You know, all this is her packages, and I'm just so visual. I love it. So I've made an order yesterday, so probably it's gonna be here next week also, and then we can have a proper plan. I've also ordered a huge teacher's board, so we're gonna have a massive display of all the raised beds. I'm so excited. Right, next, broad beans. I don't think so I'm gonna do broad beans this year. Broad beans, again, it's like some onion variety and a garlic. You can actually sow or put the actual beans in soil in autumn, and or even you can put it out in a garden and overwinters. It's very hardy. It's nothing like most of the other beans. Usually I sow beans May, April, because it's such a fast growing and love heat. Broad beans, on the other hand, it's a different story. But you can sow broad beans now. Peppers and chilies. Peppers and chilies, I'm probably going to leave the peppers and chilies till next month, but you can sow seeds this month, because peppers and chilies takes more time to germinate, and it's a slow grower, and it needs lots of heat. So if you got an environment, you can do it now. If you haven't, wait till next month. So that's the thing with tomatoes, peppers and chilies, and some of, you know, when they start blossom in flowering. If you move them, let's say you baby them in your potting shed or greenhouse or heated greenhouse, and you put it out, they can drop those blossoms, the little flowers. So that's something what you need to be thinking about as well. Spinach. I am going to sow spinach seed this year as well. And kale. So I've just ordered kale. It's on its way. I'm gonna do spinach and kale. Garlic. We've talked about the garlic. I put circle around the ones what I've already have and done it. So garlic, parsley and carrot. It's already in a garden for me. Cabbages. I'm going to sow some cabbage seeds, especially the summer cabbages or greyhound. I put order in, so that will come and we're gonna do it together. So parsley is such a cold loving herb. I've got loads of parsley now in the garden and it deals with frost just fine. And carrot. You can sow carrot indoor and then probably transplant it. I don't like transplanting carrot, so I'm not gonna do it. I've sowed carrot end of last year, autumn time, and they are doing just fine now at the moment in my outside raised bed. But I've just cleaned, weeded actually yesterday and looks so nice and neat. I am planning on doing the January garden tour, so I take you out to the polytunnel in the garden and see what we can grow in January. But that's it, friends. And do you know what? Actually, I have put peas in here. I am also tempting to sow some peas for pea shoots. This is something what you can do. So in your salad and salad greens that you can have more flavor. And I absolutely love pea shoots. It tastes just like peas. So just a nice pea flavor before you can have the actual peas. Well, thank you so much for spending time with me today. The next couple of vlogs, it's gonna be about the pantry challenge. So we're still going through the leftovers, and then we're gonna go to the pantry freezer room and we're gonna make plans. Also, we're gonna do the January garden tour, as I said, and then we're going to have talk about the seed, what to sow, and we're actually going to sow lots of seeds this year. I'm going to sow 10-11 seed, probably January. Well, I hope you all have a wonderful day and see you very soon. Bye, friends.